Hello, today we'll talk about the Astrotec Volans or Volans, not sure about the correct pronunciation, but it's a really interesting model and I'd probably call them anti-hype model. You know, Astrotec exists on market way longer than vast majority of other companies, and for that time they managed to deliver a lot of interesting models. I reviewed few of them. And they created a few really good earbuds, nice true wireless models, some good in-ear monitors, and they continue following their own vision in terms of style and in terms of sound representation. And while other companies trying to create some tri-breeds or I don't know, 4 breeds, or how to name the model with 4 different driver types, or some ultra pooper balanced armature models with 35 drivers for 2 years. Astrotec came back to the basics and they released middle segment dynamic driver in ear monitors. Basically price is $330. Of course it's a bit expensive, but here used really interesting driver with copper Tesla magnetic force coil. So Astrotec says that it's the world first model with such driver. I don't know the statistics, but probably if they stated so, it's true. And knowing that Astrotec definitely know how to tune the sound, let's proceed with the review and see what we will get. Package is nice, stylish, it reminds previous designs, some reminiscence with Lyra, with nature and so on. Probably here it symbolizes water, but it's just my assumption. So technical specification: 32 ohms of impedance and 10.5mm Tesla dynamic driver and sensitivity 110 decibels. So basically almost the perfect figures in terms of pairings. As usual, under the outer wrap we will have the inner box made of black cardboard, short instruction card about the proper wearing, some warranty card underneath, small box with accessories, where have we seen such bag before? And actually in this bag we'll get a pair of phones. So familiar bag, isn't it? And earpieces themselves stored in nice plastic case, good protection, 3 pair of Sony hybrid tips, if I understand right, because they are made of same soft and sticky silicone. And earpieces themselves, let's move it back, and stock cable and even cleaning tool. In terms of design they are nothing but good, so looks attractive, well built, classical shape for the over-the-ear wearing, nice metal work, good design, unusual wave-like pattern. They exist in a few different shapes, in few different colors, of course. I've got a blue one, it's strict and fancy simultaneously. And as Ukrainian I like the yellow and blue combination, it's just our state colors. Anyway, really good, well extended spouts, providing nice fit. Actually they are small, they are pretty smooth, so wearing comfort is nice. I think they will easily fit to almost any ears without issues and problems. And proper angle, so they will go pretty deep into the ear channel and provide a nice sound isolation, so there won't be issues with that. Of course, I mean for public transport or for the street wearing. Of course, on subway or on the plane you need something with high isolation or something with active noise cancelling. So as you can see, pretty deep insertion of spouts, and that's what they provide. Good build quality. Actually, I like such design. Of course, it's subjective, but luckily nowadays almost all companies creating models that have a good design. So times of poorly designed earphones are almost gone in past. And of course they feature replaceable cable. Here used MMCX connectors. Nice click, so I hope they will be durable. Of course it's hard to say without few years of active usage, but unfortunately I can't test that. Cable is average in terms of softness. It's actually not super soft, not that modern super soft cables, but not the hardest one. There are ear hooks format, so microphonic noise is low, and it goes to the splitter, and after splitter it goes braided to the straight jack. And bonus accessory, this jack cap. Anyway, let's summarize this part. In terms of design, build quality and accessory set, model is really good. And of course about the sound. So during the pause in video recording, I reread the description of this in-ear monitors, and actually I'm not sure what is made of copper here, because first I thought that they're referring to the copper coil of the dynamic driver, but actually in some descriptions, in some texts mentioning the copper inner chamber that is used here, and in that case it makes more sense. Probably I need to clarify that and to add the comment. So if I'll get more information, read the pinned comments. I gave them about 60 hours of burn-in. There was subtle changes in sound during first few hours, but no longer than that, so they don't require super extended burn-in, but actually I've tried to burn them in probably further. If there will be some changes, I will also update review a little bit. As usual, it's necessary to find the proper tips, and as with other models, I've tried the bigger tips, but actually it appeared that I need medium ones because they have extended spouts, so tips goes pretty deep into your ears, and keep that in mind when you will try the different tips. Because with bigger ones I got wrong seal and really poor sound performance. In terms of overall signature, they are also, you know, pretty unusual in at modern scale, because like 5 years ago or so, such tuning was more often met in the in-ear monitors world. They are neutral, well balanced, good in terms of technicals, but at the same time they're not trying to boost something or to highlight something. I haven't seen their frequency response chart. Actually, I'm that kind of reviewer that thinks that none of the charts will help you to understand the sound fully. Of course, when there are some issues with in-ear monitors or with the source, you can understand that by measurements, but in general, even good measured items could sound not so good. And even more hilarious is attempts to explain the sound based just on the frequency response, because you know step response and that waterfall charts, in my opinion, are more important because they explain such things as macro dynamics, resolution, and so on. So I haven't seen their measurements, but I'm pretty sure that they are more or less linear without big accents, because they don't have that boosted upper mid that is common for modern models. And they don't have big boosted bass, so maybe they are not totally linear, but they sounding like linear, but at the same time, thanks to a good dynamic driver, they're not sounding monitoring. So let's have a player on the table. and let's proceed with step-by-step description. You know, it's a representation that I'd probably called an intelligent sound, like, you know, well-behaved professional who knows that it's a professional and not trying to demonstrate that. So bass goes pretty deep. Maybe it's not the deepest one, but depth is good. It has a nice impact, but at the same time it's not emphasized. Actually, it's pretty tight and impactful, and I like it with electronic music, but most probably people who listen to synthesized low frequencies would prefer a bit more boosted lows, but it's a matter of taste. And it stays well controlled, not shadowing the mids, and you know, the huge benefit of single dynamic driver, it's 100% coherent. You won't hear that overlaps between different drivers and all the things that they will bring. It's pretty nice with acoustic instruments. It has pretty rich overtone saturation in the low frequencies. All that rich nuances in the lows are present. Greatest examples for them could be Musica Nuda, Casey Abrams, and some Chesky records, some acoustic records, but I selected a bit different track. Enigma's Gravity of Love. Maybe a lot of people first heard Carmina Burana as a sample in this track. And it has nice, pretty deep bass, but at the same time this deepest bass line is not emphasized and stays somewhere on the second roll in the overall mix. But thanks to the good bass, not emphasized, it remains so in the representation of these in-ear monitors. But at the same time, thanks to the deep and pretty technical bass, it's sounding nicely. Of course, don't expect super fast and resolving low frequencies of balanced armatures. It's still a dynamic driver, but at the same time it means better weight distribution and more realistically sounding lows. Mids are also represented in similar manner. They are detailed but not focused on the micro detalization, and at the same time they're not trying to highlight the macro dynamics. It's, you know, it's a bit relaxed signature, but not sounding soft or smooth, because usually relaxed signature means that earphones are warmer, softer, slower. It's not that case. It's still not balanced armatures, and if you like that balanced armature focus on the micro detalization, you can get some hybrids or something like that. But at the same time, this model sounding pretty lush and luxuries. You know, it's probably not the most correct comparison, but it's like turning on some tube mode in modern players or in amplifiers. It's not making sound really soft or really warm, it just makes it more... the proper word is romantic. I made that in some review and use it constantly because it's the word that really match such representation. It's sounding charming with voices, especially with male ones. Female ones could benefit from a bit additional boost of the upper mid-range, but at the same time they still sounding really realistic. Instruments are also sounding natural. And they are not super critical for the quality of records, but at the same time not the super forgiving, because you'll need to have a nice recorded stuff. And in terms of stage, it's above average, but not hugely above average, so it's not the most spacious model, not trying to shock you with the size of the imaginary stage, but still it's good with 3D imaging, and depth is even better than width. And you know, it's probably the model that a bit shifted towards the intimate signature. Not hugely intimate, but a bit more intimate than average. But still, imaginary stage is above average. I suppose I managed to express this thought at least halfway correct. And as an example, I said that they are great with male vocals. And Marco Hietala, solo work of one of Nightwish musicians, and track is For You, so it's basically all about the male vocal, and they sounding nice, emotional, but at the same time they're not boosting emotions like some models with focus on the macro dynamics does. And treble, it's also not accented, or maybe slightly accented, so it's not treble forward model, but extension is above average, so it means they are more natural. Resolution is nice, again, once again, it's not balanced armature, so like nice but not balanced armatures is the second name of this model, but still it's nice way of representing treble, and they have more weight on treble with as the balanced armatures. I mean, they have a bit slower attacks and decays and sounding a bit more realistic, and it gives a bit better treble layering comparing with not top of the line in a balanced armature in ear monitors. And they have nice rich treble overtone saturation, but at the same time not sharp, not bright, maybe not the soft, it's not soft model, but it's not bright either. So basically if you sensitive for treble but not super sensitive, like over average sensitive, it could be a good model. And as an example for the treble, no, not Enigma, Layla, unplugged, Eric Clapton. I actually like unplugged version of Layla more than that one with electric guitars. And actually this record has the funniest joke in the history of music, because at the beginning Eric asks, let's see, will you spot this one? And starts playing one of his most famous songs, so I think it's a fun joke. Anyway, really good record with all that atmosphere of a big concert, and with a lot of instruments, with crowd interaction sounds, and with clapping, with applause, and so on. And this model will give you all that treble details that is necessary to reconstruct that audience and that sense of presence. So to summarize once again, nice good model for those who don't like accents, for those who don't need boosted micro detalization, for those who don't need boosted macro dynamics, for those who need rich and intelligent sound with nice representation of emotions and so on. In terms of genres, probably I prefer them for classical rock music, for jazz, for vocals, for instruments, for classical music. They are pretty good with heavy metal, but it's more a matter of taste. If you don't need super boosted emotions, they will be good. With electronic music and pop and other genres like that, they are good, but don't expect super boosted low frequencies. So in terms of pairing, they are pretty well scalable. So basically I'd say that they start from FIO M11 or iBasso DX160 and goes up to iBasso DX220 and Canon 6 Mark II, somewhere in this range, but of course player choice is a matter of your preferences. Speaking about the comparisons, there are a lot of models in this price range, but actually almost all of them are hybrids or balanced armature models, and that means that they're sounding really different. So let's say, I don't know, the only model actually that I can recall instantly is the Duno DK2001, and it's, you know, quite a different model, like not polar opposites, but really different, because DK2001 is more energetic model with more boosted emotions and actually different in terms of representation. FIO's FH5, for example, it's hybrids, they sounding a bit more impactful, with more accented bass, with more impact on the mids, and actually a bit less rich treble. They are balanced armatures, they are a bit more detailed, but at the same time they're sounding a bit less natural, at least to my ears. I don't know, there is not much sense in comparing with some other models, so that's just that few models, and I will probably end with this. So it was Astrotec Volans or Volans, and it's, you know, model that won't became a huge bestseller, but not because they are not good. They are really good. They're not just following modern mass market trends, and I really wish they became successful, because I'd like to see more such models in future. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and have a nice day.